He had never seen such an unusual transfer of wealth in his entire life. He couldn't believe that his boss would do such a thing. The Tycoon CEO watched his siblings trade in their Porsche for a rickety old pickup truck. He was completely bewildered. His boss had always been eccentric, but this was beyond anything he had ever imagined. The CEO called James, picked up his phone, and dialed a number. "Hey Marcus, it's me. Listen, I need your help. Something weird is going on. Do you think there's something wrong with my boss? What if he's sick?" He explained what he had just witnessed. "You don't really think that, do you? You know how much he loves his cars?" Marcus said over the phone with a laugh. "No, you're right. But still, why would he give away his prized possession? That doesn't make any sense." James thought for a moment. "Yeah, you're probably right. I guess I'm overreacting. Forget it. Thanks for listening." James hung up and sighed. He knew that he was probably worrying over nothing, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that something wasn't right. His boss, Mr. Peterson, was a self-made billionaire. He had built his fortune from scratch and was the epitome of success. James had worked for him for over 10 years and had seen firsthand the dedication and work ethic it took to get to the top. Mr. Peterson had never been one to rest on his laurels and was always looking for ways to improve himself and his businesses. So when James saw him trading in his prized Porsche for an old pickup truck, he couldn't help but be concerned. James couldn't help but be drawn into the mystery of Mr. Peterson's actions. He could understand why someone who had everything would willingly give up their luxury car for a beat-up old truck. Was there more to the story than met the eye? He decided he needed to find out the truth. At the end of the day, Mr. Peterson caught wind of James's suspicions and decided to put them to rest once and for all. He called James into his office and explained his reasoning behind the seemingly irrational decision. James was shocked by what he heard and realized that he had been wrong to judge his boss's actions without understanding the full context. Mr. Peterson began his story by telling James about his past. He spoke of his humble beginnings and the sacrifices he had made to achieve success. He told James that he had always valued hard work and determination, and that he had never taken his success for granted. Mr. Peterson then explained that he had recently had a health scare that had forced him to reevaluate his priorities in life. He told James that he realized that material possessions were not as important as family, and that he wanted to spend more time with them. This was the reason he had decided to sell his Porsche and buy a pickup truck. He wanted to be able to haul his grandchildren around in a vehicle that was more practical and affordable. As Mr. Peterson spoke, James felt a sense of shame wash over him. He realized that he had been judging his boss based on his own limited perspective, and that he had failed to consider the bigger picture. He understood that Mr. Peterson's decision to sell his Porsche was not a sign of weakness or foolishness, but rather a wise and mature choice. Mr. Peterson finished his story by telling James that he was proud of the man he had become, and that he should not let society's obsession with material possessions cloud his judgment. He told James that true happiness came from living a life of purpose, and that material possessions were only a means to an end. As James listened to Mr. Peterson's story, he felt a newfound respect and admiration for his boss. He realized that Mr. Peterson was not just a successful businessman, but also a wise and compassionate man. James had always admired Mr. Peterson's work ethic and determination, but now he saw that those qualities were rooted in a deeper sense of purpose and humanity. James knew that he had learned a valuable lesson that day. He had learned that it was not enough to simply judge people or situations based on their outward appearance or his own limited perspective. He had to take the time to understand the full context and the motivations behind people's actions. He had learned that true wisdom lay not in material possessions or societal status, but in one's character, compassion, and sense of purpose. From that day forward, James approached every situation with a newfound sense of humility and understanding. He became more patient and empathetic towards others, and he began to see the world in a more nuanced and compassionate light. James's transformation was not an overnight success. It was a gradual process that required constant effort and self. However, with each passing day, he became more wise and mature, both personally and professionally. He became known as a fair and compassionate leader who was able to connect with people from all walks of life. James's story is a powerful reminder that wisdom is not solely the product of age or experience, but can also be cultivated through our interactions with others and the lessons we learn from them. It is a testament to the transformative power of mentorship and the importance of remaining humble and open to learning from those around us. Whether we are young or old, we all have the capacity to grow and evolve into wiser and more compassionate individuals. All it takes is a willingness to listen, learn, and apply the lessons we are taught. One day, Mr. Peterson decided to take his grandson on a special trip in his new pickup truck. He wanted to teach his grandson about the importance of hard work and determination, values that had been instilled in him from a young age. As they drove through the countryside, Mr. Peterson shared stories of his humble beginnings and the challenges he had overcome to achieve success. He taught his grandson that material possessions were not the key to happiness, but rather the pursuit of one's dreams and the satisfaction of a job well done. The boy listened attentively, soaking up his grandfather's wisdom and realizing that true wealth lay not in money or status, but in the strength of one's character and the value of one's actions. As they reached their destination, Mr. Peterson pointed to a field of sunflowers that stretched as far as the eye could see. He explained that just like these sunflowers, one should always reach for the sun and strive to achieve their dreams, no matter how challenging the journey may be. The boy looked at the sunflowers in awe and understood the importance of never giving up in the face of adversity. As they returned home, Mr. Peterson and his grandson shared a meal together, talking about the importance of family and the values that had been passed down from generation to generation. The boy felt a deep sense of gratitude for his grandfather's guidance and realized that the most valuable lessons were often learned outside the classroom and away from the distractions of modern life. This continued until one day when Mr. Peterson fell seriously ill and was rushed to the hospital. James, along with the rest of Mr. Peterson's family and employees, were shocked and saddened to hear that his condition was critical. They gathered at the hospital, each reflecting on the impact Mr. Peterson had made on their lives. As the days passed and Mr. Peterson remained in a coma, James found himself thinking back to the conversation he had with his boss. He remembered Mr. Peterson's words about family and the importance of spending time with loved ones. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. Suddenly, James had an epiphany. He realized that Mr. Peterson's decision to buy a pickup truck was not just about practicality or sentimentality, but a way to create lasting memories with his family. James understood that Mr. Peterson had known his time was limited and wanted to spend his remaining days creating meaningful experiences with those he loved the most. Determined to honor his boss's wishes, James took action. He reached out to Mr. Peterson's family and suggested a plan. With their support, James organized a surprise visit to the hospital. He brought Mr. Peterson's family, including his wife, children, grandchildren, and other relatives, to the hospital. They all gathered around Mr. Peterson's bedside, sharing stories, laughter, and love. As the family reminisced about fond memories, Mr. Peterson's condition began to improve. Slowly but surely, he began to show signs of consciousness, eventually opening his eyes and responding to his loved ones. The doctors were amazed by the sudden improvement and were baffled by the turn of events. When Mr. Peterson regained consciousness, one of his first questions was about his pickup truck. He had remembered his plans to take his grandson on a special trip and was eager to make it happen. With the help of James and the rest of the staff, Mr. Peterson was able to leave the hospital and go straight to his pickup truck. As he drove off, waving goodbye to his family and friends, a sense of relief and joy washed over everyone. They had witnessed a miracle, a testament to the power of love, family, and the human spirit. From that day forward, Mr. Peterson's health continued to improve and he was able to enjoy his life to the fullest, cherishing every moment with his family and friends. He had learned the true meaning of wealth, that it was not measured in material possessions or societal status, but in the richness of one's relationships and the fulfillment of one's purpose. And so, the story of Mr. Peterson serves as a reminder to us all to prioritize what truly matters in life, to cherish our loved ones, and to pursue our dreams with passion and determination, for it is in these pursuits that we find the true meaning of wealth and the secret to a life well lived.